I am Mark, Prince of Eternia and Keeper to the Secrets of Castle Grayskull. This is Martyn.
Hello?
My fearless friend. Magical secret powers are revealed to me the day I held aloft my podcasting microphone and said, "When wagon wheels were bigger." That was my intro.
I like that. I liked it very much.
I might put an echo on when wagon wheels were bigger.
I think you have to.
I'm glad I remembered it all.
I'm proud of you.
As I've already said, this is Wagon Wheels Were Bigger. Normally, a podcast where Martyn and myself look at 80s children's TV shows from our childhood and kind of commentate about them, talk about them, dissect them, not with any real intellect or foresight or insightfulness, but it's what we attempt to do. But this week's a little bit different, isn't it, Martyn?
Yes, yeah. It's a spin-off from episode 18, really, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. So I took a drink of water just as you asked me the question.
Yeah, episode 18, we looked at Bertha and an offhand comment about one of the characters being a little bit like Bruce Forsyth led me to just bring up the idea that Bruce Forsyth, the BBC, usually BBC One light entertainer, had a sitcom in the 80s where he was a supermarket manager, and you didn't remember it at all, did you?
I really don't remember. I mean, having now given away that this is what we're doing, having watched it, I have no recollection of this whatsoever.
No. Well, I don't know why I do. I can't work out why I would have seen this, but I...
Well, because what year was it made? That's one thing I didn't pick up on.
No, I haven't checked that. I want to say 86 from what I remember.
So, I mean, you wouldn't have even been in this country.
No.
Would you?
Probably.
Or would you?
No, but I mean, you know, as we said
but even
before,
so,
Forces TV did have most. Well, obviously we had all the crap stuff as well, but we got a lot of UK TV anyway. So I have seen it. I do remember an episode which was largely about fish cakes, and it might have just been that my young brain found the word fish cake quite amusing.
I'm already laughing at it.
That's as good as this will get. What it's
fish
called?
in a cake. I mean,
exactly, a cake made of fish. I don't understand.
I mean, is there butter icing on it?
Who knows?
It sounds vile. It sounds horrible.
Just one of the many potential misunderstandings that probably happened during that episode of Slinger's Day, which is the title of this programme.
Did I call it something else? Or did I not even mention it? I can't remember.
I don't think we have.
Calling it Slinger's Way all week. So.
Well, that was why I put the title in there, just in case neither of us had already covered it.
I don't think we had.
In the intro.
Slinger's Day.
Slinger's Day. Now, is that a play on words? What does it mean? I don't understand.
Well, his name is Slinger.
Obviously, but is there some kind of...
It's like Groundhog Day. Every episode is exactly the same, I imagine.
It probably is. But
because it's probably, judging on most 80s sitcoms, I imagine the formula for every single episode is exactly the same. It's a bit like... I can't remember if Keeping Up Appearances was 80s or 90s. I think it may have been early 90s. I think
it probably crossed over, but yeah, definitely early 90s.
You can pinpoint exactly what is going to happen at almost every turning point of the plot.
You can.
Loose plot.
It's 1986, yes.
1986.
Yeah.
And I think most sitcoms of the time were very much like that. They kind of had a very strict formula that the writers seemed to stick to. You know?
Yeah. What, just...
A would happen, whereas A led to B. Laugh.
As was the style of the time.
As was the style of the time. You could think of, Hello, Hello, Duty Free, one of your favourites, I know, Keith Barron.
You'd have no idea what that is.
Never the Twain. We've talked about that.
Well, we're big fans of Never the Twain. Friend of the show, Never the Twain.
Friend of the show, Never the Twain. Much like friend of the show, Roy Kinnear. All dead.
Did you nearly forget the name of one of the friends of the show?
I did almost forget the name of Roy Kinnear.
What seems... I thought the formula was padding, 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 shit racist joke, shit sexist joke, padding, padding...
Jacko from Brushstrokes.
Jacko from Brushstrokes. End.
And then, yeah, because for something that was clearly filmed in front of a live studio audience, they didn't react much. really.
To this.
And also, it seemed like it was recorded. I mean, obviously, it's recorded live if there are people there, but they just went with whatever the first take was.
I was going to say the opposite, actually. I thought they overreact because the laughter is far too intense and often slightly too soon, which makes me think either they had to bolster the complete lack of laughter from the real audience with a laugh track, which I'm sure they must have had to do, or there was some off-sync aspect of that sound and the actual sound. There's so many, I don't want to call them jokes, but there's so many moments in the show which are supposed to be funny, where the audience piss in themselves, and all I wanted to do was self-harm. So yeah, it's like the Big Bang Theory of its day, of just, there is an audience there, but you can't understand what they must be watching to elicit that response.
And why they would go.
Maybe they're all tied up and being gassed.
Maybe.
I hope so.
I hope the gassing continues long after the show's recording, and it just ends it.
Yeah, because that's what they deserve.
But it's a lot of the delivery from Bruce Forsyth. He fluffs his lines.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's an intentional character trait. I think it's just that
they probably became one.
He probably became one through necessity. We'll write that in. Bruce Forsyth doesn't know what he's saying.
Well, at this time, 86 to 87, because apparently it had 2 seasons, unbelievably. At this time, would he have been doing game shows? I can't really place.
That's what he did, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, he did the Generation game, but that was after this, surely.
No, but he did it before as well. He did it in the 70s. Yeah,
Okay.
he was the first host, and then it was Larry Grayson.
Okay.
And then him again. Slinger's Day is almost exactly like Bertha.
It is.
So if you're a fan of Bertha and Bruce Forsyth and Jacko from Brushstrokes, who apparently is only in this first episode.
Oh, well, he does. Well, yeah, there is a plot development, which is a good reason why.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good point.
So yeah, this is Slinger's Day, Series 1, Episode 1. The title, I believe, is New Management.
Which gives you a bit of a clue as to the plot.
Yeah, well,
Ooh.
Which is a very grandiose word for what happens in this.
For bad writing.
Yeah, really overstates that somewhat. But yeah, it's, as I say, so it's a bit different. It's not a children's programme, but it might as well be. It's so poorly written.
It is. Should we watch?
Let's go for it. Might as well.
Let's tuck in. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Slinger.
Oh, look, Thames Television again.
That's the best bit of this whole episode.
It
was
is.
The reminiscing about Thames Television. I loved that logo. I mean, because that obviously was before Rainbow and everything, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So the name of the supermarket is Super Fair.
I'm still confused as to whether Slinger's Day is some kind of pun or something.
It's his day. He's having a day.
But he has more than one day. He has 2 seasons worth of days.
He does.
Fake audience loves that dog.
I hate this music that T-Boy spelt wrong. Lol.
That doesn't go anywhere either. Why? What does that mean?
No. Well, no, because when Slinger turns up, they say you're too old to be a T-Boy, don't they?
Oh, do they? I obviously had stopped caring at that point.
Yeah. Now this is a real who's who of nobodies in show business.
It really is. Because wasn't one of the guys in the white coat? Wasn't he in Bugsy Malone as?
He was, yeah.
As one of the detectives.
He was also. I'm fairly sure he was in the bill later on as well.
Yep.
And the one, she looks familiar too, but I couldn't place who she was, and I'm not looking up on IMDb.
I can't. Yes, this is very odd. There's he's familiar as well. I can't work.
He is familiar. He kind of looks like the son from Home to Roost, though.
Yeah.
But it's not him. But it kind of. That one with the paper as well. He was in a lot of adverts.
Sorry, that was a good ending to that sentence. I expected it was going to be he was in a lot of like programs or films or something, but no.
Adverts.
A lot of adverts.
And just to show that this is the 80s as well, disposable nappies, 4p off. Which kind of, I've just realised, this, having not noticed that, later on in the episode, there's a pregnant woman, and Bruce Forsyth says, I can give you nappies 4p off, but that's already the deal.
Yeah, because he says 4p as well, very old-fashioned. Yeah, you're right.
Which is something 80s people said.
So that's quite a good
Quite a good callback.
I hate to give it any credit, but that is quite a good callback for the observant. It's an Easter egg in many ways.
It is. It is an Easter egg before that was a thing. Apart from the eggs you got at Easter, that was definitely a thing in the 80s.
It was, yeah.
Actual chocolate Easter eggs.
There is one good joke in this scene. I say good.
What is
Where
it?
he's talking about... he says something like, if you feel yourself like I do, or something like that, and the other one goes, I don't, a filthy habit.
Bet he does.
I bet he does. I bet they all do. I bet he's doing it now.
That is a joke about masturbation for anyone
is.
who didn't get it.
Yeah, it's. I didn't deliver it very well, but then neither did he.
I think this guy was lucky to get a career in the Bill or in anything after this show. I can't believe it went to 2 series.
No, I can't either. But then Bruce Forsyth probably had a lot more power in the 80s, like to just carry on doing stuff, like a lot more.
Yeah, you're
draw.
probably right.
Although God
He
knows
had a
what
lot
he'd
of
want to do
clout.
anymore. Yes, that's a better word. Clout.
What's he doing there with the jellies as well? He's the jams and jellies or whatever sales rep, and he's just there feeling the jellies.
They just probably he's winging it. He's making, sort of, I was going to say ad-libbing. That's not it though. The equivalent of that.
They said to him, "Be a jelly sales rep." Okay, they fill jellies, yeah, whatever. we have not researched how a supermarket is run, as will be evidenced in the rest of this episode.
Look, everybody, just keep yourselves busy until Forsyth arrives.
Because he is the star of the show.
Kit Kat's there. What is this joke? I don't understand.
There was
it
a
joke?
comedian who used to do that with a shop window.
Okay.
So you were seeing his reflection do like his arm and leg would go up on the reflection as well, as if he was doing a star jump, if you like.
But what's the reference to the sales rep?
I don't know.
Okay. Does he look like that comedian?
I don't know.
Is he being played by that comedian?
Oh, maybe he's been played. Maybe it's a really,
Obscure Easter egg. Of course, like 30 years on, everything in this is quite obscure and
It
weird
is.
and makes no sense. I'm sure in 1986 we'd have been pissing ourselves laughing.
Probably.
Because I'd have been 6 and easily pleased.
I don't think... What's the uniform for this supermarket? He's got a tie on, the guy behind's got a Hawaiian shirt. Some of them dress like doctors.
I suppose it depends. Like, we don't know exactly what they do and what part of the supermarket they work in.
Well, seeing as they have he calls it later the dog food section, and it's such like a stand, isn't it? It's one stand.
Yeah. It's a very small set, though, isn't it?
Oh, here's Brucey.
Here
Doing
he
his
is.
Great mugging. Look at this. That's
Now,
my
Bruce.
Bruce Forsyth.
You're angry. Be angry.
Stick your chin out more if that's possible.
He looks like... I know he looks like Bruce Forsyth, but it's this is like... do you remember... Was it in Whizzer and Chips Store Wars? The strip with
Yes,
Mr.
yeah.
Superstore and... was it Mr. Bloggs?
Mr. Bloggs, yeah, Bloggs and Son, wasn't it? Next door.
The two... the big supermarket and the small, home... family-run business.
Yeah. I think that was in Chips, wasn't it?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, because Chipites were best.
Because Chips had all the rubbish comic strips in it.
Chips had all the best ones. For anyone listening, Whizzer and Chips, you could take out the Chips part in the middle, and you were either a Whiz Kid,
If you
with
like
Whizzer,
Whizzer.
or a Chipite, if you like Chips best. Now, obviously, everyone read both, but I was a Chipite and Martyn was a Whiz Kid. Because he used to wet his pants. Whiz.
Well, no, mostly because Chipite sounds ridiculous.
Chipite sounds awesome.
A
Yeah, Shiner.
Chipite. You'd rather be a
Yeah.
whiz kid than a Chipite.
I wouldn't. I'd rather be a Chipite, because then Shiner could punch Sid Snake in the head.
Sid Snake could eat Shiner alive.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to go?
I didn't realise quite how intensely I felt about that.
So did I. Oh, there's the racism there.
Yeah.
Possible racism.
Yeah. Do you want to repeat the line? Sorry, because I was
It's,
shouting over it.
you can look upon me like a father, and then he touches the black lady on the shoulder and says, well, father figure, suggesting that he would never have recreational sex with a black lady. That's what I took from it.
Well, what?
Even though he would in real life, because he's married to, I believe, a Hispanic lady.
No, hang on.
Without wanting to sound racist myself, I'm not exactly sure.
So are you saying
But
that he would have sex with one of his actual children?
Yes.
If they
That's
were white?
exactly what he said. That is what he's suggesting.
Right. This is quite a dark sitcom, isn't it?
It is dark. I'm guessing he's a butcher behind, because he's got one of those butcher's hats on.
He's also smiling more than he should be, for
He
some
is.
reason, the butcher guy.
He's obviously thinking of another script he's read. She looks familiar, actually. I think she might have been in EastEnders.
I expect so. Well, she might
Most
have
of
been
them gone on
another
to be in some sort of soap opera, really.
There's just jokes that are started and really go nowhere.
Yeah.
Or
Like,
implied.
is it
like,
Pinter, isn't it? He said, "Oh,
Yeah.
you Harold." Oh, yeah, my brother's Harold.
any
Pinter.
relation to Harold? Yeah, that's my brother. It's just, it doesn't go anywhere. And there's a lot of jokes where they expect you to come up with the punchline.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if he's already said it when he says, you know, I didn't have a father. Do you know what that makes me? And then there's a pause where the audience all think, "Ha, bastard!" Yeah. But he says an orphan, no, and he says, "Oh yeah, that too." It's just,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's painful.
He's thinking of all the lucrative advertising deals he's going to get.
What was he? What adverts do you remember him being in?
There was an advert where he was on a train and something happens and it advertised a thing.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Do you remember that one?
Yeah, it was good. It
Oh,
really
no,
made me
it was
want to
like
buy the thing.
A death-like character appears on the train, singing
Oh,
"There
yeah, I
may be
do.
trouble ahead."
I do remember that. Yeah.
You remember that one?
Yeah.
There may be trouble. He was the guy who there might have been trouble for.
I see.
And
yeah.
funnily enough, it was after this was made, so it wasn't a preemptive strike against this. That's not the words I wanted, but you know what I mean.
I think the woman that you said you probably recognised. I don't know. I didn't see what her name was. Was she called Dottie?
It's something Pinter.
It doesn't have her surname. Oh
Might
well.
have been Dottie.
I don't know. Some of the IMDb listings don't have photographs, and weirdly, Bruce Forsyth doesn't have an IMDb photograph.
Well, no one knows what he looks like now.
Oh, true.
I mean, it's safe to say that this is not a good show.
No.
I mean, it's also safe to say that the vast majority of what we've watched over the course of the last 20 episodes have not been good shows.
That's true.
But the difference is, this was aimed at people that are our age.
Yeah.
Or were our age, I should say.
Or aimed at an adult audience. Not adult in that way, but in a grown-up audience.
No, I haven't seen the Triple X porn parody of Slinger's Day.
You wouldn't even have to change the name.
I think it'd be called Slinger's Way.
Would it be sort of a like Robin Asquith type?
Yeah.
It would be
I think
starring.
it'd
in
have to be.
He'd be the
Confessions
supermarket manager.
of the supermarket manager, yeah. Oh, bawdy, I think is the word you're looking for. It'd be bawdy.
Yeah. His character, this advert guy's character, changes. Sometimes he's happy to have a go. Sometimes he slinks back and he's quite scared. They haven't really worked out what his motivation is.
They really haven't. I think it's
that kind of thing that really pulls me out of the show.
Yeah, I mean, it had me before that. It's just bad characterisation, bad writing. Why are they pouring teas out? There's no one there anymore.
They're just
Apart
for
from
them.
them. They just poured a load out. Now this guy, if you wanted a crafty older Irishman in a sitcom in the 70s or 80s, it was this guy.
You called David Kelly.
Who played Grandpa Joe in the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory remake.
Oh God, yeah, he did.
Which means he has looked 80 forever.
For 30 years.
Because he was in an episode of Fawlty Towers as a builder. Have you seen the episode where
I'm sure I must
Sybil
have
wants
done.
some work done and he wants to use a cheap build, which is this guy, and she wants to use another guy, but he obviously uses the cheaper guy and he bodges it up. Well, he's in that, and he looked like this then, and that was the 70s, wasn't it? The end of the 70s?
75. I'm sorry, I've just
Which
looked him
means-
up. Yeah.
Well, mid to late 70s, and he has looked like this forever. He came out of the womb looking like that.
He's actually quoted as saying, because I've just gone, clicked the David Kelly link, he's quoted as saying, "I've been 52 to 53 years on stage, and yet Fawlty Towers, in 1975, those full 9 minutes make me recognised anywhere in the world."
Yeah.
So, Yeah.
Not Slinger's day.
Not Slinger's day, though. He's 82 now. Oh, no, he's not. Sorry. That's terrible. He died in 2012, aged 82.
Did he really?
I
Oh, that's
misread
quite sad.
Yeah.
Because he is quite good.
Yeah. There are some good people in this, but you don't... they're not being used properly, and it's shit.
It is shit. Really shit. Which means in this then, if he was 82, he was in his 50s then.
God, yeah, he would have had to been.
So he looks older. He looked like that in the 70s. He's just obviously one of those guys who just got to a certain age and stayed the same.
He looked old from very young age, yeah.
I mean, if you think, like, Bruce Forsyth has kind of looked the same for a long time now.
Yeah.
Do you know, Bruce Forsyth walked into a bar and the barman said, "Why the long face?" Because he's got a long face.
Yeah.
Like a horse. Or someone with some sort of elephantiasis off the face.
See, that he's saying he's supposed to obviously be in at least his 70s or so, the character, because...
This is great advert acting. Ooh, I dunk a biscuit in his tea, and then he puts the biscuit back, and you think, dirty bugger. Look at that. Dirty bugger. End of part 1.
And yet the audience
But
still
don't worry,
clap.
there's a part 2. Here it is. Now...
is the sound all of the audience should be making instead of laughing.
This is... I mean... I don't... Why none of the other shoppers are reacting? They've also been told, just act like shoppers.
Act like you're shopping. Continue to shop.
Continue to shop. Oh,
Maybe it's a real shop.
Old chocolate bars behind them there. Oh, they all look the
Can't make
same.
them out.
Look at Kit Kat's flakes. Grocery department. This is grocery department. Look how small that shop is. There are no departments in that shop.
No.
They're vastly overstaffed, which was another problem that Bertha had.
There's a lot of similarities.
There's a lot of people doing nothing in the shop. The shop is tiny. It's not a supermarket. It is a Tesco Express at best.
Or a Texpresco, to use
Texpresco.
the scientific term for those shops.
And it's just, I don't know, it's very badly laid out.
But at least you can find the dog food department, which is right.
That is true. That is true. So this is obviously a protest for the fact that they used whale meat in dog food. Was that a thing? Was that an actual thing?
I don't know.
Or was it for the purposes of this hilarious subplot to this show?
That sperm joke did feel a little bit out of place as well.
It
I have a
did.
responsibility to the sperm, and it says something like, "I can see that," or because she's pregnant. Implying
See, yeah,
that,
you spunky whore.
I've just looked back onto IMDb, and the thing that pleases me most about Slinger's Day is that the entry says, "Know what this is about? Be the first to add a plot." Nobody can be bothered to describe it.
Well, here's our first shot of Jacko from Brushstrokes, which is his name. That's his actual name.
Jacko.
He has no other name. When he was in Mulberry, he was Jacko from Brushstrokes. When he was in an episode of Minder, he was Jacko from Brushstrokes. These were all before Brushstrokes.
When he was in the Flash adverts for disinfectant
Jacko from Brushstrokes.
and kitchen cleaner, he was.
You go, hello, I'm Jacko from Brushstrokes, but you may know me best as Jacko from Brushstrokes. When I'm being Jacko from Brushstrokes. After a hard day's work of being Jacko from Brushstrokes, what better way to wind down than cleaning my kitchen with Flash? He's now in EastEnders and he's really let himself go
From this.
from this.
That is saying something.
He really is. He someone else we've mentioned on the show, I wouldn't say she's a friend of the show, but he is going out with Shirley, the one who looks like Zelda from Terrorhawks.
Is he?
See, I mean, people listening might think we're just randomly picking shows, but they all tie into each other in some way.
It's all connected, like the Marvel
all
movies.
connected.
Hashtag it's all connected.
Yeah, it's kind of like, Lost. It's kind of like that. Everything's connected. All the storylines are connected, and then ultimately you'll be disappointed.
If it's not all connected, then we'll make up some bullshit about time travel or a church in limbo or whatever the end of Lost was about.
Whatever the fuck that was. 6 years of my life wasted on that show. I could have given up at any point.
Did you just-
No, they've got to be going somewhere.
Did you just watch it solidly for 6 years?
Yeah, 6 years, 6 whole years of my life.
The same episode every week until the next one was on, and then you watched that for a week.
Yeah,
That's quite That's quite a lot of dedication to the show.
it wasn't worth it.
No, I can see why you'd be angry.
I am very angry. I mean, you can't see my face right now because obviously, as we've said before, we podcast separately. At the same time, that'd be weird if I was guessing what mine had said or filling in the gaps.
We are very much in sync, like that. We could do it if we really couldn't be bothered to record at the same time. I'm sure.
Same time, damn.
Yeah, about
This is-
9 o'clock.
This is the best joke of the show now. I had no
Yeah.
idea where this was going, and it still doesn't make a lot of sense. So this guy has signed a cheque Donald Duck, and he says he swears it's his name, and they don't believe him. But then he says, "I can show you some,
Some
some
ID.
documents to prove who I am." And he says, "Oh, Reverend Duck." He's a Reverend
He
Donald Duck.
reveals his dog collar as he opens his jacket as well, so it
and then he
fills in a
says,
gap
"Oh,
there.
this happens all the time to my sister Daisy, Daisy Duck." And then he gets out a picture
Of
to
his
show
nephews.
of his nephews. Can you see where this is going, listeners?
Even knowing what the joke is, I still really don't see where it's going.
No. And also it's Bruce's delivery of the names when he reads them. Huey, Dewey and Louie.
And he talks over him as well. And
Yeah.
then the Reverend Donald Duck proceeds to do a Donald Duck voice and
Yeah.
get thrown out of Superfair.
So he is clearly mentally ill.
Yeah, and it gets a round of applause, that whole routine, as well. Which,
Well, mental illness is funny, isn't it?
It is. Maybe it's just a phase he's going through.
So
There's a
I want
chucky
to know
callback there, sorry.
if the picture... yeah, I want to know if the picture that he shows him is of three
Ducks.
ducks, because he does look shocked as he looked at it.
And is it cartoon ducks, or is it 3 actual ducks that he's
He
dressed
put
up in
hats on,
vicar
yeah, I hope
costumes? Like a
I hope
red
it's that.
vicar costume, a blue vicar costume, and a green vicar costume.
I
These
hope
things
the-
need answering.
They do, and I hope the Beagle Boys are looming over them. Oh. We might do DuckTales in the future. We'll see what happens.
Oh yeah, that was quite good. We don't want to
Well-
do good things.
You say that, we remember these things as being quite good.
That's true.
That is the true. Why that? Like, I've in Chocker had problems with things being hung up in the background. Why are the price guns hung up on coat hooks in the manager's office?
Because they're trying to convince you it's a supermarket office, and they thought, what can we do to make this, to dress this set in a way that would make you think it is part of a supermarket?
Price
I
guns.
know, price guns, and a map of the UK,
Where all the other stores are, I imagine.
probably.
Well, I've already forgotten what the supermarket's called. It's not a supermarket.
Super
fair. As in fair, but not spelt. As in fair, as in good value, but not spelt in that way.
Are they even being that clever? I don't know.
So she will hold in. I mean, obviously it's revealed in there she's not actually pregnant, but he falls for that. Right, I'm going to hold my baby in.
Yeah,
Because
you can do
you've
that.
promised to take dog food. Yeah, you can do that.
it's easy.
Just
stop
kind of
thinking
clench
about
your
it.
vagina. I imagine. I haven't got one. I don't know. I honestly haven't got one.
There you go. See, fourpence off.
Fourpence. Yeah, and they're already 4 pence off, so she's not getting any sort of deal at all.
Or is she getting an additional?
Also, he's
fourpence?
checking for his heart in the wrong place.
Yes. He doesn't
Idiot.
have one. He's
Doesn't
already
have
a
one.
robot at this point in real life. And also, you wouldn't like they haven't even finished taking down the dog food that they wanted taking down. So you're
No.
probably best swapping the pregnancy fake lump thing outside when you've already finished the mission that you wanted to accomplish.
I don't think, as a new manager of I mean, I've never been a manager of a supermarket, but as a new manager of a supermarket, I don't think the first thing you want to look at is the petty cash box.
No.
Oh no, it's because he wants to. I remember.
Oh
now.
yes, yeah. But also,
There is a reason. I remember now.
yeah. None of what he does really makes sense, though.
None of what any of them do really makes sense.
No.
Do you remember typewriters? Do you remember them? Ah, ha, ha, they were the 80s. Remember them?
We've got CCTV though, look in the background.
Yeah, behind him. What use is that? I mean, I suppose they're recording it on... Oh, actually, what are they recording on? What the hell was that machine?
Just made me think of that scene in Hot Fuzz. Then, just
Yeah.
just like enjoyed the idea of Bruce Forsyth putting his legs up on the table, and Jacko from Brushstrokes like pulling up his trouser legs to reveal sock suspenders.
Someone shut that door, but no one... I don't remember seeing anyone shut the door, which means bad continuity. Which I think is one of the only things wrong with this show.
Yeah, it's otherwise flawless. So he sacks Jacko from Brushstrokes for being scruffy as an example.
He sacks Jacko from Brushstrokes for being Jacko from Brushstrokes.
Which I think is fair.
Judging on all his future work, it's most definitely fair.
It's a move that every other employer should have made. It's the jams and jellies, man.
Why would he come back the same day, within what, 20 minutes?
It's so that they can do this hilarious end routine.
So he can do his Emperor Palpatine impression. Look, he wouldn't go in the store to throttle a man.
To chase him around.
The toilet roll section.
For doing his job.
Woman, scruff, man. Great character names. And he's kicked all that over.
The audience are loving that.
They're loving the slapstick. If only had a ladder to hit people on the head with. That might have been a company call. I mean,
it was probably quite important. She's the only one who seems to be working.
Alka-Seltzer.
Oh, milk everywhere or something. Or not milk, it's water.
It'd be great if he just proclaimed loudly, "Oh, for fuck's sake."
That's what everybody else did.
Thames Colour Production, I think.
It was in colour.
Colour was slightly wasted on that, as was the film and the time. So that was Slinger's Day, which, as we said, a bit of a departure from what we normally do, but not worth it. Not worth it.
So bad, it had to be done.
It was so bad, it was really bad.
Yeah, but yeah, it's an odd one, isn't it? And
it is.
I can't even, like you say, can't work out why I would have had any knowledge of it at all.
But, I mean, you know what? My memory of TV from the 80s and bizarrely the 70s, before I was born, is slightly autistic levels of remembering, and it's been commented on by my wife and members of her family. How can I remember things when they were on when I was about 3? And they've come to the conclusion that I'm actually lying about my age, and I'm actually in my 40s. But having used the Microsoft Guess Your Age app, apparently I'm 56, so...
That makes even more sense.
Yes, that's why I remember it all, because I was, born 20 years before I said I was.
I just thought as well, I referred to Bruce Forsyth as a largely BBC One entertainer, and yet that was obviously an ITV show, because there was an end of part 1.
Yeah, and Play Your Cards Right and Price is Right was ITV.
Oh, okay, there you go. So, sorry about that. Bit of bad information.
Yeah, sorry about that, no one. I used to love Play Your Cards Right. That was a good game show. I forgot what it was.
Or did you just want to play a game with the giant playing cards?
I just wanted the giant playing cards, and that was sexist. So, come on, dollies, do your dealing.
So basically, Bruce Forsyth is not an actor.
No.
But he must have. I don't know how that sitcom would have come about, because it does feel like it was written for him. So I wonder if he sort of came up with it. Or... He
probably went in to some sort of TV executive and said, "Oi, I bring a lot of money to this station. Do me a sitcom."
And they cobbled together some half-baked crap about. He probably
said, "Write me a sitcom, or you'll never work in TV again. TV again, you'll never work it." Oh, a little nod to Roger Melly, the man on the telly there.
I did watch that again when you mentioned it recently.
It's still brilliant.
It is very funny.
It is still really good.
It's
ho! Your wife's so fat, etc. It's because they're literally just reading it from the comic strip. That's what I love about it. They don't bother to add lines to just read. Because I remember I had that actual strips I used to get of Viz, and it did have there, "Your wife's so fat, etc." And they just, let's just read it as it is. That's fine.
I really like the because they hardly disguise anything, but the blankety blank bit where I think Tom says
Yeah.
something, "Okay, Roger, just do a joke like Des Dawson does at the beginning." And he goes, oh, my wife, she's a fat old bitch. And then he just goes on. And it's just very, very good. But there's only two voices, and it's Peter Cook and it's Harry Enfield.
Harry Enfield does all the others, I think.
Yeah, and
Pretty much.
It's a really good showcase of
But
the cartoon strip and the
just
two
how brilliant
actors.
Peter Cook was. I mean, it was sad when he passed away because he did so many brilliant things.
He was perfect for Roger Melly because
He was.
just got that delivery where he's got the right amount of anger and not giving a shit.
He was always the better part of Dudley Moore and Peter Cook. He was always the funnier.
Yeah.
Not that I had anything against Dudley Moore. I love Santa Claus the movie, but I don't think he was as talented as Peter Cook.
Controversial.
Controversial. Not some of the other things I've said.
It's merely an opinion, which is how we're going to defend everything else we say in this episode.
Yeah, and also, no one listens. It doesn't matter.
It's fine. It'll be all right.
There's been one episode that loads of people listen to.
This will be what puts us on the map, but for completely the wrong reasons.
Yeah, probably.
Oh well, that's something
I
to look
might
forward to.
bleep out what I'm saying, just in case. Just in case. But anyway, that was Sling's Day. So
that was your opportunity to say it's banter, Martyn, harmless banter.
It's banter. It's fine. So that was Sling's Day. If you found that amusing or horrific, then you still may want to follow us on Twitter @SpreadTheWhimsy, or you can like us on Facebook, which is facebook.com/toomuch.jam.
Don't forget to subscribe to the iTunes feed and subscribe to our YouTube channel, because next time we'll probably do a kids show, and it might be something you like instead of this.
Well, it won't be.
No, it won't. It definitely won't be. I know what it's going to be. It definitely won't be.
I know what it's going to be as well, and it's not going to be something anyone likes.
No.
Well, there are two. We won't go into now, but basically there were two factions, and we were not on this faction. We were very much in the other faction.
Cryptic.
Cryptic. But don't forget as well to watch this on YouTube eventually when it goes up with the episode.
Yeah.
I'm back on track now, so it might go up not long after this goes on iTunes. So we'll see what happens,
So yeah, so hopefully you've enjoyed this departure, and we will be back on track next week. So hopefully you'll join us then, and see you then.
See you then.
Cheers.
Cheerio.
Then.
Bye-bye.
Bye.